So welcome back to another episode of the Kentucky Couple Travel Podcast. We've been a little bit behind. It got hectic at the end of the school year. That's always a hectic time. And then we went straight into traveling. So we have a new vacation to tell you about. And if you happen to be watching these on YouTube, you may notice we're going to go ahead and record a couple. So these aren't just our favorite outfits. If you see us wearing the same thing a couple days in a row. We've also switched locations. We're no longer in our little cramped office. We've rearranged rooms in our whole house. Never want to do that again. Whitney said we're never moving bedrooms again. So we moved around some stuff. So we're doing this in our dining room. It is not 7 minutes after 5. That's what time it was when those batteries died, and I've never changed them. So it will remain 7 minutes after 5 for this entire podcast, but makes a decent background. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the trip that we just got home from a couple days ago. We went on a road trip through the Midwest, and we knocked off several new states. So we went up through Indiana, which we had been to before, obviously, since it borders Kentucky. Camped for a night, then went into Michigan on Mackinaw Island. So that was a new state for us. We drove across the Upper Peninsula into Wisconsin, on over into Minnesota, cut down through South Dakota, went then into Nebraska, back across Iowa, back to Illinois, and then back home. So that puts the total at 43 states. So we're on our way to 50, and we'll talk some more about that in a couple episodes. Our goal to get to all 50 states. So we're going to kind of do a deep dive in to that trip. As always, talk about our 5 favorite things, and then maybe some things that we didn't like. So I'm going to try to show you as we go through kind of a slideshow, some pictures, share with our trip. But Whitney, just some initial thoughts about the trip?
I enjoyed it. It was a good trip. I don't really have a whole lot to say till we get into our list, but other than just I enjoyed it, I really enjoy road trips.
Yeah, one of the things, we've been flying a lot lately, and we'd said, we're ready for another road trip. So it's been a while, I guess, since we went up to New England.
I just enjoy the feeling of a road trip.
She gets in a lot of extra sleep. And
filling up a cooler, snacks.
She kind of looks like she'd like to be napping right now.
I'm tired today.
yeah, we just got done swimming with her niece.
Tired and fell. I'm about to kill myself yesterday. So, that's a whole nother story. But
but we had a good trip. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to put this slideshow up. It's in PowerPoint, so the first little screen's just so I knew what it was. So let's start kind of with some honorable mentions. And I don't know if you had any that didn't make your list, but things that you enjoyed. For me, the things I said was Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I'm not a huge NFL fan. We love college football. That's probably our favorite
NFL
thing.
fan.
Well, you are a fan of the Saints. But, Wisconsin, there really wasn't anything that we wanted, we had to do. Maybe where we're back, we'd like to go through the Dales. But we said, well, let's go by Lambeau Field. That'll be something quick and easy.
It was worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. It was much more open and a lot more going on considering it was the off season than I thought there would be.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And I guess
lots of people buying gear.
Yeah, and I guess that just shows kind of the diehard fans that the Packers fans have. I think they're known for that. But really nice on the outside, big brick structure. Really, I don't know, parts of it didn't look like a football stadium other than it was just massive. They had a huge team shop. I have a picture showing here, Whitney, of you and your cheese head.
I was excited about that.
That you wanted to try on.
Not a fan at all.
Yeah,
but just wanted to wear the cheese head.
The store was huge, and then you could go up, some escalators into the atrium, and just walk around the lobby, walk around the concourse, and it was just huge. So I thought that was really cool. I guess the other thing for me that I didn't put in my top 5, but that I really liked was South Dakota. I thought it was.
Well,
I thought it had a
actually
vibe
had something
in
but-
South Dakota. Well, it's probably not what I'm going to say. What I really loved about South Dakota.
I mean, we were there very, very long but I don't know. I just like the people were nice.
Yeah,
there.
they were nice. I have a picture, kind of the sign of that little roadside motel that we stopped at. So that may get into one of her top fives. And we'll talk more about that here in a minute.
You need to just roll there and just get into our top 5.
But I'll tell you what, what I really liked is the speed limit in South Dakota is 80 miles an hour.
That was scary to me.
So you can really
I was
make
nervous,
some time.
But you made me nervous.
Yeah, but when you're driving,
you were driving fine, but it just felt a little overkill.
well, when you're doing thousands of miles in a week, you're trying to
Scary.
make time. And so when you got somewhere that was 80, I felt like, I can go.
I feel like most of the places were
87,
really
88,
windy, too.
89.
So it was like a lot of wind.
Yeah.
And people's driving, and that's a lot of traffic and people. And, yeah, it was a lot. But
So we'll go ahead and jump into it with our top 5. So let's go ahead and start with what's your top 5?
Did we start at 5?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
My 5 was the motel and the state of Iowa. I have 2. Some of mine are going to do that today. I'm going to have like 2 in 1. But I really liked the motel. Like, I'm not saying it was a Hilton and it wasn't something I was just like, oh, this is amazing. But I'm really into like vintage, nostalgic type things. And I've gotten really into this 70s and 80s kind of vibe, and it had that, and plus I really liked the Bates Motel, and that's what it reminded me of, even though I did not want that to go on while we were there. But I just really liked it. I thought the people were nice. I liked that it was locally owned and maintained well and clean.
Yeah, super clean.
It was fun.
It was kind of like stepping back in time.
I love that.
There was a lot more locally owned businesses.
Yeah,
and
nothing going on in the town at all.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was like a Burger King that was in a gas station, and then like some gas stations.
Yeah, we got there kind of late,
Yeah.
and I got hungry, and there was nothing to eat anywhere except for like a piece of pizza that was really old in the gas station.
And there was 2 motels in this town. There was a Super 8 that was
Not crazy about those.
Yeah, that was it was a normal Super 8, which we never stay at, and.
Wasn't that what we stayed at the other place?
Yeah, but it was like a updated
yeah.
one. So, but we really rarely stay at those just because they're sketchy. It didn't have good reviews, and it was
I'm really picky.
$250 a night.
Picky.
Sioux Falls, which was just about 30 minutes to the north, everything was booked because of the youth soccer tournament. I saw in the news that night, watching a little TV, said the youth soccer tournament brought in 5,000 people. So apparently 5,000 put their city at max capacity because their hotel rooms were outrageous, and no longer we were going to be there. We're really just sleeping. And this little hotel is like $80, and it was super clean, locally owned, and everybody bragged on it in the reviews.
I just thought it was
So it's
cool.
the Crossroads Motel. If you're ever in Beresford, I guess that's how you say it, Beresford, South Dakota, look it up.
I love that feeling.
The gentleman that ran it his dad built the hotel. And
it was
so
clean.
It's always been the family.
Very
Super
clean.
clean,
I mean, it
super
was, like I
nice.
said, not fancy, old.
Yeah, and it was like you wrote everything down on paper. I kept waiting like on the Home Alone where they slide that little.
Yeah,
carbon
I had
copy thing
Clifton
across your
keep
credit
it,
card.
and then like we got the key, the actual key with a little old-fashioned, like key ring thing on it.
I also like that the old man liked my joke. Weedy went and stayed in the vehicle while I went and checked us in, and he's doing his rundown. He says, any pets, because they didn't allow pets. And I said, no pets, just one wife. And he kind of gave me a little chuckle and went on about his business.
I love the old, they had like vintage, like pop machine. And one thing I know, I've always said that I hate hotels that are like the outside door. But I like them that one was fine with me because it's clean. It reminded me of the one we stayed in when we went to Mayberry. Mm-hmm. But it's really cool to be able to park your vehicle almost at the door and pack your stuff in. That makes a big difference because we're usually, when we were at the other hotels, we're hauling like 2 and 3, sometimes loads of the little luggage carriers or whatever. But that's pretty cool. You can just go out, get it, bring it in, lay it down.
I really don't care regardless. As long as it's clean. That's my really 1, 2, and 3 things. If we're going to be there a while, then I get a little picky because I want it to have like a separate space, just in a bed and a TV and a bathroom.
Yeah, you like to sit on a
space.
couch always.
And then
or 2 beds at least.
Yeah, really, my only other thing really is just be clean. And I don't worry as much about the outside as long as,
I don't like
if it's,
them very much.
if it's clean and it's well maintained and you don't feel like there might be hidden cameras here, that would be weird. But I mean, let's be honest. I always have something to protect us. We're never in danger.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it is nice to be able to pack your stuff in that easy.
Yeah.
So we were able, if you forget something, it's not a long walk. Because I always forget stuff, usually something important. So Clifton is usually ready for bed when I'm realizing that I left my medicine, my purse, my wallet, my phone. And you have to go, because I told him I'll go by myself, but he doesn't trust me out there, obviously. I don't know. But he's afraid someone's going to kidnap me. So usually he's having to go back out and down. But that's pretty nice to be able to just walk to the car.
So let's save Iowa, because that's actually sort of one of mine. I know one of the big parts we're going to talk about Iowa, and we'll group it all in together. So let's go ahead to my number 5, and that's where I want to talk about the drive from St. Ignace, Michigan, to Wisconsin to the state line.
It was beautiful.
It was Highway 2, and I kind of pulled it up on Google Maps there. You can kind of see the route that we took. And it goes right along Lake Michigan, I'm going to say, for 90% of it. And it was like 150 miles.
Like a beach.
And you're driving, it looks just like driving along the ocean, this little 2-lane road that's straight, not very curvy. Sometimes there was 3 lanes or 4 lanes, but for the most part, it was just a 2-lane that was really wide, though. And you see a picture there of the road. You're literally right on the coast. And I just thought it was so beautiful.
It was.
You see a picture there of us on the balcony of the hotel that we stayed at for a couple nights while we were there. And we'll talk some more about that town here in a little bit. But I love that drive.
Yeah,
and that's what I love about road trips.
I slept, though, some.
Yeah. I kept telling her, about, hey, you're missing it. It's beautiful.
I don't know. Cars knock me out. I get in a car, 5 seconds. I usually fall asleep from home to 20 minutes to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's just one of my favorite things. Driving on the road with Whitney and listening to a podcast or something. And when the drive is scenic, it makes
I could drive all over the United States.
Better.
I mean, just drive. Because there's times that, like, we're like that at home. Like, if I'm having a rough day or something, we will take our vehicle and just drive down the road, across the road, up in the mountains, listening to podcasts and relax. That's my way to relax.
Yeah, it's good.
It's to ride in the car.
Yep. So
and sleep.
So I just really love that. And so there's not a lot to say about it. It's just a highway, but it's beautiful. If you are ever up in the Upper Peninsula, I strongly recommend taking Highway 2 as far as you can take it. Because I love it. I just thought it was great. And it's a whole different vibe up in the Upper Peninsula than it is in the lower part of Michigan. So let's go ahead and go to your number 4.
My number 4 was the classic Pizza Hut. I don't know why I'm still dreaming about it. I'm still feeling like I need that, even though it's the same. I want the Pizza Hut again.
Okay, I didn't put this in my slideshow because for some reason when I upload them, those pictures.
You didn't appreciate it like I did, did you?
Those pictures from your phone didn't upload in Amazon Photos, so I'm not sure why. I need to check those settings.
It's probably my phone. It's probably me.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But so
I'm old.
If you're listening to this and you're not sure what a Pizza Hut Classic is, you can Google it. They're randomly scattered across America. I think there's a couple here in Kentucky, a couple in Tennessee.
We need to find them.
But Iowa had several, maybe more.
It was middle of nowhere though.
Yeah. So it just happened. There was one. It was just took us like 30 minutes.
Makes me so happy. I'm so
out
nostalgic.
of our way to where we were going that night, and
it was worth it.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
It was so literally to get there. It took us down like dirt roads around these farms. I really
even more so than here. It was country.
Literally dirt and gravel roads. I literally thought we were driving across somebody's farm at one point.
Yeah.
Because there was just
so
corn
pretty.
as far as you could see,
Pretty.
an occasional windmill in a farmhouse, and then gravel roads. And finally, it took us out in this little bitty town, and it was a Pizza Hut Classic.
And I think I had Iowa on there with that, but that's besides the point.
Well, we'll talk some more about Iowa, too, in a minute. But this was Perry, Iowa, is where the one we went to. I don't know what else was in this town. There was not much.
I never want another Pizza Hut again. That's the problem. I just loved it.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The food was exactly the same.
It tasted different to me. I felt like the pizza was extra crunchy. It was good.
Yeah, but
I felt like the crust was really crunchy.
But I think a lot of that is you usually, when we go to Pizza Hut, don't eat pizza. You eat wings and cheese sticks.
But it was crunchier. It was great.
Okay, so essentially what it is.
It was better.
When we were kids, and anybody our age, we're in our mid-30s, so probably 5 years younger than us and up. You know what we're talking about. Pizza Hut used to have a distinct smell. Used to be decorated with these
Plaid.
kind of plaid, red and white everywhere.
Tablecloths.
They had a jukebox
lamps.
and a little tabletop Pac-Man machine.
Book it.
Yeah, Book It. I think Book It's still a thing, but
It is, but it's not as cool.
No,
it was so important to me.
So
I faked a lot of.
It had like the old kind of light fixtures with the Pizza Hut logo.
They look like a Tiffany lamp, sort of.
And so, but it was cool. It was just like that, but a regular Pizza Hut.
It was great.
Yeah, and
they were amazed by us too because we had drove out of the way and we had called them before that. Clifton had me call. He always has me call people and ask questions. So I call them and I'm like, "Are you a Pizza Hut Classic?" They were like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know if they even knew
that they were a Pizza Hut Classic,
even though it said it on the sign.
But she said, "Are you referring to our Facebook post?" And I was like, "Sure." And she was like, "Yeah." So we just went for it. But
so there's been some Facebook posts. I looked that up. That's kind of went viral, and
at there. From Perry?
No, just the concept of Pizza Hut Classics, and that would happen to be one of them that was on their post. So what I think it is,
so pretty,
is most Pizza Huts have went to carry out only, kind of like Little Caesars are for
ours
us, or
isn't.
some Papa John's. But
ours is just
here in Southeast Kentucky, the 3 that are close to us, or 4, they're all
indoor.
Indoor. They're not named Pizza
They don't have
Classic.
like the buffet. I think they still have the buffet in the Classics.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you'll randomly walk in one of ours and there could be a buffet.
Yeah.
And then there may not be one for 2 years.
But it doesn't have the decorations. Ours went more like modern decorating, but I don't know if that's a concept they're trying. The Pizza Hut Classic with just the decorations. That's really the only difference.
They should do it to everyone.
But for a lot of people online, it kind of went viral when they announced that. And it was just the fact you can eat in the Pizza Hut. And they were making a big deal that they offered a pan pizza. I don't know.
I've been eating pan pizza for years.
If you're listening to this from somewhere else
and
you don't have pan pizza, tell us. Let us know some way.
If you got that sad hand tossed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if that's all you got. But, we've always had pan here. It's never went anywhere. So,
I know some people, they're obsessed with the pan. I actually had a friend, or it was my sister's friend, said her mom actually took one of the pans home and put it in her purse.
I've looked on eBay several times
to find a pan,
to buy one, and they're available.
But the pans are different. They used to be like cast iron.
And they were. I don't know if they were really cast iron or if there was so much grease and stuff baked on over time. It was almost like a hard.
Perfect.
But they would turn black. But these are still.
They're still black. They turn black, but they still kind of look like my pans.
Yeah, they're
not
washed.
as cool.
They're clean, but with scars.
It's amazing.
The old ones look like they just took your pizza out and.
The only place that I felt as good about my pizza is what I had there was when we had one in New York. But
that one. But I think that deal that day was we'd walk like 13 miles in a blackout, and finally we're.
But it was good, and it kind of give me. There's sometimes I get a Pizza Hut vibe. It just makes me happy.
Oh yeah.
Ours not so much sometimes, but
Pizza Hut used to have a smell that you could smell like driving down the road, driving by it, and you're like, oh gosh, yeah. So
love you, Pizza Hut.
That was good.
Heart for Pizza Hut. I love you.
So the camera's still showing us at Mackinaw, so
that's okay.
She just held up a heart logo.
I try to give you a heart
this.
for Pizza Hut. Makes me happy.
My next one, and I'm sure this is on your list. This may even be your number 1, but it's Mackinaw Island.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Okay.
Mackinaw Island's my number 3.
Okay, so
and I put Mackinaw Island surrounding area because we didn't stay on the island.
Yeah.
We stayed off the island.
Yeah, and let me go ahead and say this. If just Mackinac Island was it, I probably would have them a little lower, maybe an honorable mention. It was great.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great, but
I have to say, I'm kind of an anxious person sometimes. And it was pretty crowded that day. We were lucky for beautiful weather.
Yeah.
But it was a little crowded. I felt a little anxious about the crowds because there's people everywhere.
Yeah. Well, here's my only thing is, it was a little overpriced, and I get it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a place that
beautiful.
the rich have bought every little speck of land. They've put a strip of touristy place.
And it's old-fashioned, again, like I like. But
it's Gatlinburg without cars, essentially.
But in prettier.
And there's not like the kids' tourist stuff. Like there's not go-karts and mini-golf.
No, the stuff is pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful because it's like you're on the ocean. You're on this island.
And it's like real traditional looking.
Like colonial kind of style.
Yeah, that's pretty that way.
And then there's a huge loop. So if you're not familiar with Mackinac Island, there are no cars on the island besides like the ambulance and a couple fire trucks. The police, everybody is on horse and buggy, or they are on horse and buggy, or bicycles. And
Well, what got me
there's a
was
24-hour taxi.
that's what got me when they
horse and
said
buggy.
that. I was like, so what if you're like 3 a.m. needing to run to the store? You just call the horse and buggy to come pick you up.
So
very interesting.
Essentially,
but we had the best weather, and we were really lucky because I know other people goes and it rains a lot, but it was cool. I had to buy a sweatshirt. I was so cold.
So here's some pictures now of Mackinac.
It's beautiful.
The one in the bottom left, you're seeing the Grand Hotel, which was magnificent.
I would love to. If I could stay there, maybe I would just.
It was $600 a night.
Well, you know,
that was a basic hotel room.
It's worth it for me.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I've never seen a hotel worth $600 a night.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe it had a butler, and
All you can eat.
I don't know. It was kind of like a room as big as the one that Home Alone 2 was in, stocked like that. I don't know.
It was pretty.
I can't imagine it. So Arch Rock I thought was really cool.
That was beautiful.
And they said it won't be there a whole lot longer. I mean, when they say that, I don't know.
Especially with the person that was giving us the tour.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that in the next podcast.
Yeah, you have to stay for that one. If you want some good stories on Clifton and his insanity on this trip, you have to listen to the next podcast.
But, they could be, when they say it's not going to be here much longer, they could be, 1,000 years.
Yeah, they tell you that stuff.
I mean, that
Keep
rock
it coming back.
That rock looks pretty thick.
It's pretty.
I mean, I don't know at what point it gives away.
We could have enjoyed it better had things not happened that you will learn about.
Okay, so first let's say the area though around Mackinac, the bridge was cool, Mackinac City was cool, and then St. Ignace where we stayed.
I kept calling it St. Ignorant, and I don't know why.
St. Ignace was awesome. I love that little town.
I do too.
If
there wasn't a lot of people, and that's what I like.
But it was just like Mackinac Island, except it was
toned down.
On the other side of the bay, you could see Mackinac Island. I thought better views because you could see Mackinac. Things were
just wasn't as
lot
crowded,
cheaper. And let's be honest, Mackinac Island, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But there's three things really. So walking down the street, you have a bicycle shop.
Yeah.
Convenience touristy store.
I love
fudge
those.
store.
But that says me.
So it's like a mile stretch of that.
The fudge made me happy. I had the best fudge. What was it called? Joanne's or I can't remember the name. My friend on Facebook had told me about it, but it was like orange truffle fudge, and it was amazing. They had any kind you could think of, and they made it fresh in front of me.
So one of my best friends, he works actually at the Ark up in northern Kentucky, and his boss was actually getting ready to go to Mackinac the week after us, and it just so happened to come up in conversation, and they said, well, ask him, is what I heard about true? And he sent me a text one night when we hadn't got over to the island yet, and he said, I heard it just smells like horse poop, and
fudge.
And so I sent him back as soon as we got there, and I said, yes.
It's true.
Horse poop and fudge is really what the whole island smells like.
I normally stuff like that in Bowman because we grew up here, but it was like riding the things we rode like the carriage ride, and they just go up. I mean, it's their animals, but it was a little gross to me. I have to admit.
Yeah, and there's like street sweepers come through with like a broom and a bucket.
It's massive. And
shovel.
this is weird. This is random and weird.
Yeah.
But I feel like all the poop smell the same. The horses must be the same thing. Like,
Well, I think they all come from the same barn.
It was just weird. They all had,
But
yeah. We will get off that topic. But.
I mean, ours would probably smell the same to them. I mean, I don't think I don't know. I've never really thought about animal poop smelling different.
Well, it is. I mean, because like if you go places, things smell different. All animals. I mean, our dogs, they smell different, but.
Yeah, but
it looked the same and smelled the same everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, it was everywhere. It was everywhere.
It's because they all stay at that one huge barn and they get the same diet.
Well, it was everywhere.
I'm sure that's what it is.
And then it was that, or like, you may not get this as much as me, but people who make fudge and no fudge, that chocolate, when you start to boil it, gets a rich smell. So it smelled that with the horse poop. So,
one
fudge
thing
and poop.
that I thought was cool, walking back down the street, and I don't know if this is true. This may be marketing. We went in Dowd's Market.
That was cool.
And it was America's oldest grocery store.
See, now that stuff fascinates me.
Yeah, I think it was cool. And I have a picture there you can see inside. It kind of looks old-timey. The prices weren't ridiculous. I figured it'd be like astronomical, like kind of Alaska was when we went. But it wasn't. It's a really cool lighthouse in St. Ignace that I loved.
Yeah. They had a lot of gnats. Remember the bugs?
Oh, yeah. They were everywhere.
It's crazy.
Also, I want to call attention to one thing. I just seen this on this picture. It says Dowd's Market, America's oldest grocery store, since 1884. That seems a little late to develop 120 years after our country started, and there was colonists here even before then.
Well, that's
Were
something we
there
might
not
have to
grocery stores?
research. They might be tricking us. That was probably
Maybe,
that dude. He
maybe
was,
continually.
yeah.
Like,
Or still
something-
functioning, or
something
still
like that.
operating.
Yeah, maybe it's like a technicality, kind of like, I don't know. People say like Middlesbrough's golf course is kind of like that.
Well, just like when we listen to the radio, we listen to KSR and they say, how do they?
Yeah, like Kentucky's best or
yeah.
America's
So I started
only.
saying, how are they saying they're the
Yeah.
oldest? We need to
That's
work
not
on
something
that.
you could maybe prove. I don't know.
We'll look at that
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna look that up. All
To
right.
be continued.
Yeah. So that was your 3, right?
Yeah.
And so you've done your 4. So let's go back. I guess to my 3 is also at St. Ignace, and I'm just going to tell y'all.
I wonder if you would actually put that.
Yes, BC Pizza.
It was. I wish we had it right now.
I'm just going to tell you. The pizza was good. Those breadsticks
I don't know what they did to them.
were some of the best things. Just
Well, I had a
plain
salad
breadsticks.
That was amazing. There's pictures on there that I had put on there, but then I had nacho. I don't even know what gets into me to order this much food.
And we'll try to put some more pictures of the food and stuff on our Facebook
The
page. here
nacho,
soon.
they had big. I mean, the nachos were amazing. The pizza was good. What else? Does that all have was pizza, nachos, breadsticks? Right? We didn't get anything.
Yeah.
The breadsticks, though, I've never had breadsticks like that.
I don't know what they put on, but just you didn't have to dip them anything.
They didn't
I
eat
mean,
anything.
We got a small order of breadsticks and a pizza the first night. And
Sit by the water.
Yeah, sit by the
So
water. I got
nice.
that picture
I
there.
loved it.
And it was amazing.
Take me back.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you. So the next day he comes around and when he's like, "What are we gonna get for supper?" I was like, "I don't know what you're getting, but I'm getting me another."
I got it too.
I'm getting another order.
We
of just
ate at a
straight
diner kind
breadsticks.
of early, like a late lunch,
Yeah.
and then that night we got pizza again. But
Lord
it
have
was,
mercy.
It was good.
So
I had to
those
give it a
breadsticks-
10 plus.
Yeah.
So if they ever someone from BC Pizza ever listens to my podcast, so they probably
And
won't.
they're a chain over kind of Michigan. I don't know if they're anywhere outside of
If
Michigan.
anybody that we know is from Michigan and knows anything about BC Pizza, I just want you to know.
I don't know if the breadsticks are that
blessed.
good everywhere, but my God, those are number one, the best breadsticks
Yeah.
ever.
Man, that's making me want them. I'll go back.
Try-
We ain't past it. We've drove
Yeah, there's there's one towards the southern part of Michigan.
going back to Michigan.
So we
for
could
that.
do a loop,
That sounds
getting
good.
the breadsticks back around through
Smart.
Amish country to get them chicken strips, and I could just have me a meal.
Well, we could go on a food tour.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to start from Tombstone around.
And hit Einstein Bagels. Okay, I'm going to side rant here. We usually don't do that on this podcast, but we've discovered Einstein Bagels. And
I don't know what we've been missing. I actually discovered it. Clifton did try it.
they've
I
been at
had it
airports. And
at
I'm not like
airport.
a bagel guy because I
'Cause
used
I
to
love it.
frou-frou and I'm like, ugh, I don't know. Well, we
I
were
had
in there
him to
one day
try
and
it.
we tried it for breakfast. We was like, I'd like to have one of those bagels for breakfast. So I was like, all right, well, we went in. They had cinnamon sugar. So I got one of those. And then I seen they had the everything bagels, which are great.
Mm-hmm.
And
We got into those.
side note,
We're
I'm
buying
gonna
those.
Thomas, the mini everything bagels are
Obsessive
fantastic.
for Clifton.
I've got to get off of those. But I'm going to tell you, right after those breadsticks, some of the best thing I've ever had is that 6 cheese bagel from Einstein Brothers. It is amazing.
We bought a few the other day.
Yeah, we got a
They're
whole
gone
bag
already.
of them. Yeah, they're gone. I don't even know if they made it home. So
Yeah.
the 6 cheese bagel at Einstein Brothers, phenomenal.
I like the everything bagel with the chive and onion sour cream. Or I mean, not sour cream. Cream cheese. He doesn't do cream cheese, but that's another point.
So the BC Pizza, it was super crowded, but they were fast, very friendly. Like it was so
They
crowded.
had a really good organization.
Yeah, they had an indoor kitchen, just a restaurant where you could eat in. They also had like a big deck, and then off right at the beach,
Food truck.
where we ate. And then outside there was a food truck, and I don't know if they go places or not, but all the to-go orders, you just went to that food truck.
Yeah.
And so if you were just pick up, carry out, that was it.
I just love sitting by the water.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I love
Until it
that.
started raining. We had to run quick out.
Yeah.
But was that the first time or it started raining? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
That's
the
only time
seagulls
we had-
love to eat your food.
Yeah, but man, it was fantastic.
It was great. I'll give you that.
All right, so I guess that gets us to our number twos.
You
So
caught
what's
me
your number
hungry.
two with?
Why'd you do this to me?
Yeah, I'm eating bagels
You're
after
gonna
this.
be shocked at my number 2. I think
Okay.
it was camping.
Okay. I didn't put that on there, but
Only because I'm not the greatest camper. I was freaked out the entire time. It was, it's not, but I just sharing that with you, like, we had talked about the camping for so long and planned it and stuff, and it was wild, and I didn't know what to expect, and I was mad because I didn't really like the showers, whatever, but that experience with you was really fun to me, and I feel like it kind of took how you say that word?
Precedent.
Yes, can't talk. Over the trip, just because I felt like that was something we shared together.
Yeah, we had plans to camp a lot, but it just so happened we kind of got in a string of bad weather, and we're not about roughing it. When we say camp, we had like the greatest air mattress.
Oh, you should say Pinteresting it up.
I
had a
Whitney was really concerned about.
I wanted it to look nice.
About the way it looked, so. And like I said, some of those pictures will be on our Facebook too.
I had rugs. I had side tables.
I was exhausted by the time I set up her picture. But now I'll say that was fun. But we got in some bad weather where it was either extreme heat, like 85 through the night, or thunderstorms, and I wasn't about that. So
I really just enjoyed that time together. I don't know. It's a good experience for us.
It's something I think we'll definitely do later.
I just think that is a memory of all the trip. That is a big memory because we've never really done that before. No. We've actually slept in a tent once years ago when we was at our cabin thing, but it is nothing. I mean, but that was no camping. But this was like...
We were in the driveway of our cabin.
This was like
and cool. I was mad that we wasn't in the cabin.
It was just cool to be on a campground, seeing other families do it, and I could have really, I think, enjoyed it more. Like we had talked about, like, the setup is hard when you're traveling and you're stopping, camping, getting everything out.
Yeah, I think if we ever did it again on a road trip, all we're doing air mattress and tent.
Yeah, but if we decide to go actual camping, I think it'd be nice to go for a few days.
Yeah, if you were there like 4 or 5 days.
We have some amazing camping gear and setup. We are prepared if we decide to camp.
We're ready.
But I just really enjoyed that moment with you. I think that was fun for us. That was a good experience, even if it was crazy. There's some crazy stories coming in the future about camping and situations, but we can't tell the raccoon story.
Yeah, so we lay down after a long evening, which
we'll
that
you will
next
hear
week.
Crazy evening.
And so we're laying there, and I've fished and hunted a lot in my life, so I've been in the woods quite a bit. And I'm not like an outdoorsman, but I've been in the woods enough to know, and Whitney has not. So I know that in the woods, a squirrel makes more noise than anything else. Like when you're deer hunting, you're 9 times out of 10, you're not going to hear a deer coming. You're probably not going to hear a bear coming unless they're running.
Well, let me tell you something.
But squirrels make a lot of noise.
It was a bear in my mind.
So we're laying there, and I'm tired, and I'm just trying to cool off.
It was after me, Cliff. It was at my head. And somebody had left some cans and bottles and whatnot in the fire pit.
Yeah, and you hear something outside, and
it was loud.
I bet we'd seen 100 chipmunks and stuff. And when he says, "There's something outside,"
it was loud. I thought it was a bear getting in our vehicle.
And when he said, "I think there might be a bear," and I was like, "I don't think so."
He was ready for bed.
And she goes, "I think it's a bear." And she said, "There is something out here." And, it was relatively close to the back of our tent where we were sleeping.
My head was there, not yours.
Okay. And so I was like, finally, I'm like, because she keeps talking about it, I'm like, "Do you want me to go outside and look at this?" And she's like, "Yeah." So I put it on a shirt and go outside.
It was so bad. I wish I would have went now.
It was a baby raccoon with a little bottle, throwing it in there, then chewing on it, flipping it in there, then chewing on it.
That was the sweetest story. You should have took a picture. Why didn't you take a picture?
Because I was half asleep.
But it sounded like a bear. I was afraid it was going to get in the van and get my snacks. A bear. A real bear.
I don't think so.
Well, all I could imagine while I was laying there camping is a bear falling on my tent on top of me and coming through or busting through, or a car driving off that road. We were really close to the road, I felt like, a little bit.
It was like a little side road with...
But in my mind,
people there would be people that go into their camp spot.
People was gonna get me, but anyways, then I was a little scared of the showers. They were clean though. It was a clean place.
Yeah, it was a state park. They had shower house,
in
had
Indiana
electricity
somewhere.
I can't remember what the state park was called, but it was northern Indiana, like literally 30 minutes from the
I don't know.
Michigan
Even
state
though
line.
it's crazy. I mean, camping. I'm not an outdoorsy person. Whatever. I'm a glamper, not a camper.
Yeah.
But definitely. I just enjoyed that experience. I thought it was fun, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. Maybe.
Definitely. Okay. So my number 2 just because it was so unique, was the Iowa 80 truck stop.
I wanted to put that on my list. I just love Iowa.
You loved Iowa.
Iowa is a great state.
So let me say this.
They have been not. We
went through the southern part of Minnesota. I was a little disappointed with it. Now, the northern part might be different. I hear Duluth is beautiful. We didn't make it up there, and our number one will tell you why. We kind of had to change the plans. But Minnesota, I expected it to be kind of picturesque. You know, it's the land.
I don't know what I thought.
The land of 10,000 lakes. I'm like, man, it's going to be beautiful. But
I don't even know if I've seen a lake.
It was kind of like what I thought Iowa was going to be like.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin was
Iowa.
Similar. It was kind of between
but
Iowa
we're
and
just
Minnesota.
we're coming, no offense to those states, because we were literally just coming through.
Yeah, driving through. We're just stopping a couple places to say we've been there, get our magnets and shot glass.
I would have liked, when you're trying to get all 50 states, you don't really have a lot of time to go in and really adventure the states.
Yeah.
Like you
and
would
I think once we've done all 50 and say,
we
then
can
we can go back and say, all right, I really want to spend more time here. Let's do 3 days here. But what I liked about Iowa is, yes, there is hundreds of miles of nothing but corn.
It's beautiful.
And, windmills. That's true. But when you find a place, it's
windmills
like,
creep me out, by the way.
Let's make it unique.
Yeah.
Like, they had, the classic Pizza Huts. They had a McDonald's that looked like the 50s style. Remember that one we saw?
Why didn't we go?
I think we were on a
Was
drive.
I asleep?
No, you said, that's a cool-looking McDonald's. I remember you saying that. I think it may have been like when we were across the road from the classic Pizza Hut.
I was so worried about the classic Pizza Hut.
It was the same night. But anyways, this Iowa 80 truck stop is the world's largest truck stop.
It's massive.
And, okay, so our very first
I love a good
podcast,
truck stop
our very first podcast was about Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is huge. Buc-ee's has its role, and it's great. Their restrooms, it should be, I've on record, it should be a law that every public restroom has to be like Buc-ee's. Private, clean, that's the deal. But this truck stop makes Buc-ee's kind of look like your average pilot.
Yeah.
The fact it's almost the same size as Buc-ee's, but it's 3 stories.
Yes.
And so
not as many gas pumps. Buc-ee's is more like gas pumps, not for trucks.
Well, Buc-ee's, no trucks are allowed. Here is geared towards the trucker.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people respect our truckers enough.
No, they need more places like that.
Yeah. And that's one of the things with the future that's coming that we're really going to have to address, and not to get, political or anything. But we need to have a plan for when self-driving is here and automation here, which is in our lifetime. If you're putting hundreds of thousands of truck drivers out of a job, there's nothing to replace that.
Yeah.
So, but these people, they took pride in the truckers. They uplifted them, as somebody to be celebrated, and they should. Our economy would collapse if the truckers quit doing this.
I'm trying to get Clifton to be a trucker and maybe go with him. It's my dream.
I said we could make some real money if we both did it, but I would never sleep because I don't know if I trust her driving in a big
I wouldn't trust me either. I want to sleep in a ride in a vehicle with a bed in the back.
So the way this was set up, the bottom was kind of anything you want for a truck. They had Tempur-Pedic mattresses for your sleeper cab. They had updated seats and seat covers and CBs and any kind of shirt or something you wanted. They had like an embroidery station there to embroider your company's logo
I'm trying to
or
get
put your name on it.
Embroidered a shirt.
They had all kinds of like entertainment systems for trucks, everything truck, and right inside was a complete 18-wheeler. There, and you can see if you zoom in on that bottom middle picture, you could see it's just an 18-wheeler sitting there. So that kind of gives you scope of how big that room was, and that's just the bottom story.
Yeah.
You can see the steps going down there. Second story is kind of your traditional gift shop, kind of Buc-ee's style, clothes, souvenirs, your kind of typical roadside attraction, stop and get stuff. But also on that middle level was a restaurant that's open 365, 24 hours a day.
I would like to try their food.
Never closes. Sit down. It's called the Iowa 80 Truck Stop Restaurant. So not real creative with the name, but the food looked good and it was packed full of people. It's kind of like a sit-down restaurant, menu, waiter, waitress. But also, the other side of this same story, there was a food court that probably had, I'm guessing, 8, 10 restaurants.
Yeah, it was kind of slow-moving one, too.
Yeah, well, there was tons of people. Wendy's, Subway,
it took me
Pizza Hut, KFC,
20 minutes
Taco
to
Bell,
order on the screen.
Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, just
You was in line and ordered and got finished before I ever got finished on putting in my order to Taco Bell, but that's my fault.
Yeah. But there was just
you could buy.
people
There's
everywhere.
pretty much anything you wanted.
Yeah, and they had spots for 900 trucks to stop and park and sleep overnight. There was a building just as big next to it that was a trucking museum.
I would have. If we
Yeah.
had time, it would have been cool. And it was
But-
really windy. We was about to get in some pretty bad storms.
I think the best thing that shows how much they appreciated the truck drivers was the third story, the third floor. So we went up there, and you see a picture. It says Truckers Theater. I stuck my head in, and it was a movie theater that was free of charge.
Tempted me to
You
go
go
in.
probably 30, 40 seats. Now this isn't, an IMAX. It's
Just a
normal size
small.
screen. Probably 150-inch screen maybe, which is, big. 30 seats maybe, but it was ice cold. Just a good place to relax, comfortable chairs.
Good
But
blanket.
in addition to that, you can see there in the bottom left picture here, if you're watching this, upstairs they had the theater. They had laundry and that's think about that. You're on the road sometimes, maybe 2 weeks without being home. You need a place to do laundry.
It's still tempting me.
Yeah.
You're making
They
this
had
seem
private
better.
showers. I looked at them. They locked, one at a time. They wouldn't like the campsite rows of
Yeah.
showers. It was one you went in, you locked the door, and you had your whole little mini apartment to take a shower.
That's nice.
They had a dentist, a barber, and a chiropractor.
Yeah.
All there for them on that top floor. And
Let's get a route
like-
that goes
and
by
like-
there. Would be good.
And like the theater was set up like you went downstairs and you told them whatever movie you wanted. Like now they're not showing the new stuff that's in theaters, but like
Stuff
anything on
you might
DVD,
like.
pretty much they had.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie? They had it.
Yeah.
Just tons of DVDs. And then they had a little pig seat that Whitney sit in. Got a picture of that on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the highway truck stop. Look it up. I thought it was really
I was
cool.
ready to
That was
buy
my
stuff for
number
a truck, and I don't even have a truck. I was ready to get
two.
me
Yeah,
some.
Whitney's over there looking at Tempur-Pedic mattresses for a sleeper cab. I'm like, what are you going to do with that?
Because we're going on the road. I'm trying to get us on the road. Let's take that route.
That ain't going to fit in the back of the van.
No, I'm talking about in a big rig. Let's get a job. Let's do it.
No. All right. So I guess it's time for our number one.
Probably have the exact same
I'm
one.
assuming, since we've not even mentioned it yet. So our original plan was to go through Indiana to Michigan and Mackinaw and stay like 3 nights in Mackinaw, then come through and just say we've been to Wisconsin, Minnesota, back down through Iowa, and through Illinois and home. And one more honorable mention. We stayed a night outside of Chicago, and I got to go to one of my favorite YouTubers'
Well, there's
shops.
a couple of honorable mentions.
Yeah,
that I need to
Trading
mention.
Post.
I
So
love
on
that.
YouTube, Craigslist
I almost
Hunter.
put him on there.
Yeah, I thought about it.
I liked
Craigslist
it.
Hunter. He's a great YouTube channel. And it was it's a pawn shop. It's nothing.
Me and
Nothing
Clifton
fancy.
love stuff like that. Like we like stopping by like book stuff, TV stuff, movie
Yeah.
sets.
It was exactly like you see on YouTube. He was super friendly. He was willing and dealing with people. But he's got a pet cat. He's got that always is in the shop. He's got a parrot that's there, and he's also watching, I think, his daughter's parrot as well. And so as soon as we went in, this cat comes up to us and
It's so
it's-
sweet.
it,
I got a picture
it took right
of
up
it
with
too.
us. Everywhere we went, it followed us, was wanting petted. So we were petting it, and I guess showing it a lot of attention. And all of a sudden I hear like something else meowing, and I look, and the parrot is over there meowing, looking at us.
Well, he's like, "Hey, what about me?"
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And that was fun.
We saw the Home Alone house.
Yeah, we went by the Home Alone house. Went to the American Pickers other place.
Yep,
in
and
Davenport, or not Davenport, but
LeClaire.
Yeah, LeClaire.
I had the shirt on
Iowa.
today. I wore it today.
So that was.
It was about
fun.
to storm when we got there, so we didn't get to like really look around the property, but we got to see a lot.
It was
I
cool.
really liked that. And then the museum, the NCAA.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, I liked it.
So
That's probably your
yeah. So our number one, and if this isn't yours, tell me.
I know it is.
So we had to change of plan. It just so happened Kentucky, we love UK. They'd never been to the College World Series, which is the equivalent, I'm going to say, of the Final Four. It's the final 8 teams in the baseball NCAA tournament. Kentucky had never been. And they had a great season this year. Went into the tournament as the number 2 ranked team in the country. And it just so happened we were planning on being like in Iowa on our way home the day they were supposed to play. I was like, what if we just swing wide? We shorten our trip, or in Mackinac, our time in Mackinac by 1 day. So we just stay 2 nights there. and then we'll go over. We'll catch South Dakota, puts 2 more states on the list, and then go down through Nebraska, stop in Omaha because it's right on the Iowa line. So essentially, all we did is go a little. So from instead of being on the east side of Iowa, we're on the west side. And so we went to Omaha and watched Kentucky play, and it was awesome.
That was worth
they
the
do
trip.
things right
It was
in Omaha
amazing.
when it comes to the College World Series. They
Just
host
the
it every
feeling,
year.
The vibe, everybody.
A great stadium for it. Holds like 25,000 people.
Perfect.
And
Just
they had like a little fair up outside with souvenirs. They had a little Ferris wheel. So it was just they know what they're doing because they do it every year.
Loved it, and just because it was UK and they were there, and it was like home away from home. You know, you're seeing your people there, your friends, everybody. When you get around Kentucky fans, like everybody's like a family almost. It's like you don't even know them.
Well, one thing about UK is like, and I don't think a lot of other people are like this. Like I'm sure there are diehards and everything, but in Kentucky, like half our wardrobe is UK stuff.
Yeah.
Like we wear Kentucky stuff whether we're at the game or whether we're just going out to dinner. You know, a lot of times we have on Kentucky stuff.
When I go on trips, I plan most of my stuff to say Kentucky. I just love my state.
Yeah, we were in London and we sit down on this tour bus and the guy behind me on UK, I was like, "Go Cats!" And so I think it caught him off guard. He's like, "Oh, you're from Kentucky?" I was like,
"It was wild."
So, but anyways,
and that is London, England, not London.
Yeah. It was awesome, and I guess we showed a little bit how spoiled we were that day.
Yes.
So
I don't care.
The picture that you're seeing of me, we got there like 2 hours early because we were pumped up. As soon as the gates opened, we were like some of the first people there, and we looked outside and we're like, let's go in. So we got there, and everywhere we've been to this point, it had been like 70 with a breeze, and this heat wave kicked in that we're still in the middle of.
Oh, my.
And it was like 90 degrees.
Sun beaming on that concrete.
And our seats were the first row of the upper level.
And they were great, really good seats.
Great
I could
seats.
see perfect. Probably better, actually.
And we got there and we're sitting, oh, this is awesome.
Clifton sends me to find sunscreen. There's none to be found.
Yeah, this old lady comes and sits next to me and she's like lathering up with sunscreen. I was like, man, we forgot. And I'm about to get roasted.
And I did not want to deal with that.
And so we'd bought our tickets, you know, as soon as Kentucky made it. And we talked about, should we? Like, yeah, it didn't take us long to decide. And so I started looking, and as it got closer to game time, I noticed, because we were there 2 hours before the game, as you got closer, the ticket prices on the resale market were coming down. I guess people were like, all right, I'm not going. Let me get what I can out of it. So finally, it gets down where it's not ridiculous. And it's like, all right, for $40 a person, we can go sit under the overhang in the shade as kind of the top row of the lower level. So essentially we're only one row closer, but we're under the seats we were at. And that was the best decision we ever made. Perfect.
Yeah, it was.
And
even though you did get a little pooped on by a bird.
Yeah.
Where it came from, I don't know, because we were
still not seen that bird, but
it got me too.
Yeah.
I had a little poop on me. I got real stressed about it and had to go like Lysol up because I'm scared of bird poop.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. But yeah, we don't know where that came from. But it was worth it.
And then to top it off, you know, Kentucky's first ever game, they're playing North Carolina State, and it's a back and forth game. Kentucky has the lead most of it. The 8th or 9th inning, North Carolina State hits a home run to tie it. Or no, they tie it and then they take the lead. They're up 1 going into the bottom of the 9th. Kentucky hits a home run in the bottom of the 9th to tie it. It goes to extra innings. 3 up, 3 down for North Carolina State in the top of the 10th, and then a walk-off home run for Kentucky to win their first game in the College World Series. Now, we left and we went on about our road trip then because, you know, we didn't want to stay up to a week and because you don't know how long they're going to be there in Omaha. And they never won a game again after that. They got to probably finish 4th or 5th. And, hey, so Coach Mingione, if you need a good luck charm, pay for our trip to Omaha next time. We'll stay the whole time.
Because you're going back.
Yeah, you're going back next year. All right.
Lots of wind on that trip. I will have to say that.
A lot of wind.
We was in a lot of storms and a lot of wind. I had never seen a dust storm.
Yeah.
We saw them on the way out. It was wild. It looks like fog, but it's dust. Yeah. And it was really interesting.
But College World Series, if you ever get a chance,
go.
I'm going to say even if Kentucky went there, it'd still be a cool experience.
It is really cool.
And I'm going to say, the way I would say the crowd was broke up, it was probably that for that game, maybe 30% Kentucky fans, maybe 25% North Carolina State. There's probably a few more Kentucky than North Carolina State people, but it's pretty evenly split. Maybe 10% of other teams, and then the rest were just local people. I'm going to say probably a third to half of the crowd was local people.
Yeah.
And the people we sat next to, he was probably in his 30s, early 30s. And
he looked younger than that.
Maybe he was in his 20s.
Kristen thinks everybody looks old.
But anyways, nice guy. And but he says he didn't have on any team stuff. And I said, "Are you local?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I've been coming every year since we were like 4 or 5 years old. This is what my family does." And there was like people there who had season tickets for the College World Series for, I don't know, it was like 50, 60 years. So it was just a great experience. So
I loved it.
Great road trip. 10 out of 10 for the road
I'll
trip.
be
I love
honest,
it.
10 out of 10 for me. I will be honest, I did not think it was going to be great because of some of the things that happened that you're going to learn about. We had some mishaps that almost led to a disastrous trip.
So before we preview that next episode, because we're already at about 50 minutes.
Lord?
Yeah.
I'm so sleepy.
Was there anything on the trip that you didn't like or didn't meet expectations? I thought everything was almost perfect, but there was one thing that didn't meet expectations for me.
I even liked that.
I liked it.
I really don't think. I don't think I went into this trip with a lot of expectations because it was kind of a road trip, and it wasn't like before we went, I didn't really have any specific plans of something that I wanted to do. I just knew we were riding the car and we were going to see the Midwest, and I didn't know what we were going to see really. The only thing I knew that I would want to see and thought was going to be cool was Mackinaw Island. Yep. But the rest of the stuff, I didn't really have any big expectations
Besides that, everywhere, like, we were getting hotels just
Yeah, we didn't have anything really planned. And that was the first time we've really ever done that before. So I didn't really have anything specific in my mind like, hey, this is what I want to see. So I didn't have any major expectations. So they met them for me.
So in this, I'm not saying I didn't like it.
You just said they could have done more.
Yeah, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 6 and up is positive, 4 below is negative. I would put it at a 5. It was just
middle of the way.
Yeah, like I was with somebody and they were going in, I would go because it was cheap. What it was. Yeah, it's the NCAA museum.
Yeah.
So we love.
That's just a really big thing.
We love college sports
that much,
and it's one of our favorite things. We had season tickets for a long time for Kentucky football.
And we love the Saints.
We go to Kentucky, basketball games, baseball. We've been to several baseball games. We just love college sports. And so something I've always wanted to do was go to the NCAA Hall of Champions, which is the NCAA headquarters, their national offices there in the museum.
Was that all them little plates? I had no idea what that was.
All the rest of that building was that.
Oh.
So, that was their headquarters there.
I wasn't impressed, guys.
But
I liked the little gym. That was it.
Yeah, that was the Hall of Champions. And, that was really the only thing I liked. They had a little half-court, old-timey gym.
Of course, the old-timey.
And I just thought you could do so much.
Yeah.
With
the money they're bringing in.
Yeah. And I just, just a little bit more. I feel like if you had somebody there that was really passionate.
There really
and not
wasn't.
part of the NCAA, but if somebody there that was a fan just said, all right, here's you.
Like the guy in the front was nice, but he wasn't.
Go in and, overhaul this. You could do so much with it.
Well, I thought there was 3 stories, but when we really got into it, we misunderstood. There was like 2 floors, and they're not even a whole, real big floor. It was like.
There's really only one.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom, you had like some
bathrooms and a few pictures.
And a gift shop.
A gift shop, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't anything, but, and the top there, it's interactive, and there wasn't. It's almost like arcade style games. It wasn't, So, step up your game, NCAA. Also, not enough UK stuff there, but that's not why I'm bitter.
Yeah, it is. It was for me. That's what I want to see.
So, next episode, which we're actually going to record right here in a few minutes while we're on a roll.
If I don't fall asleep on
is actually going to be a little different. We're going to do 5 stories of what happens when travel doesn't go according to plan. What happens when things get a little sideways, when your plans are turned upside down. So that's what we're going to talk about next time.
And it about happened this time.
Make sure you tune in, and then the one after that, which we'll probably record over the course of the next week, is bucket list places. We were going to do that this time, but while this trip was fresh on our mind, we kind of rearranged those.
And I'm about to go on a bucket list trip that we'll tell you about later.
Yep. Actually, the NCAA Museum was on my bucket list, but, well, I hope the rest are better than that.
But that's where they invented shooting buckets, right? Ding, ding.
What?
Wouldn't they invented basketball there somewhere in that place?
No, that was in Kansas.
I thought they invented it in Indiana.
Nope.
They're the Hoosiers. Ain't that a basketball thing?
That's a movie. All right, big fan over here. All right, guys, thank you for listening. This is Kentucky Couple Travel Podcast. See you later.
Bye.